Good morning, my dear learners. Welcome back to another video tutorial. Halina at ika'y muling matuto sa matematika. So for today's lesson, we will deal on solving problems involving sequences. Okay, so to solve problems involving sequences, there are steps to follow so that you can solve each problem correctly. So the first one, we have identify what type of sequence or series is given. Second, understand the given problem and determine what is given and what is being asked. And number 3, solve the problem and simplify your answers. Okay, let's take problem number 1. So there are 125 passengers in the first ship, 150 passengers in the second ship, and 175 passengers in the third ship, and so on in an arithmetic sequence. What is the total number of passengers in the first 7 ships? So the first step, identify what type of sequence or series is given. So that is an arithmetic sequence based on the problem. Step number 2, understand the problem and then determine what is given and what is being asked. So the sequence is 125, 150, 175, and so on. So we have the given for a sub 1, we have 125. For a sub 2 is 150. A sub 3 is 175. And then what is being asked in the problem, we have to find the sum of the first 7 terms in the sequence given. And then we have the third step, solve the problem and simplify answers. So here is the table pertaining to the problem. We have here the ship and then the number of passengers. For the first ship, we have 125 passengers. Second ship, 150 passengers. Third ship, 175 passengers until your 7th term. So we will find the number of passengers in your 7th ship. And then we will add the number of passengers from the first ship until your 7th ship. Okay. So we have the given. A sub 1 is equal to 125. A sub 2 is equal to 150. A sub 3 is equal to 175. And then to find the common difference, we will subtract your second term and your first term. So your second term is 150 and your first term is 125. So 150 minus 125 is equal to 25. So the common difference here, since this problem is an arithmetic sequence, is 25. Okay. Solution. We will find first the 7th term of that sequence. So to find the 7th term of that sequence, we will use the formula a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. So we will now substitute the givens into the formula. So we have your a sub n is equal to 125 plus the quantity n minus 1 times 25. So here, we will find first the 7th term. So a sub 7 is equal to 125 plus the quantity n minus 1 multiplied by 25 will give you 275. So for the 7th ship, you have a total of 275 passengers. Now, we can use the formula in finding the sum of arithmetic sequence. Given S of n is equal to n, the quantity a sub 1 plus a sub n divided by 2. So thus, we have your S of sub 7 is equal to 7, the quantity 125 plus 275. 125 is your first term, which is a sub 1, plus your 275, which is your 7th term or your last term, divided by 2. So simplifying these numbers will give you to 1,400. So the sum of the first 7 ships, and then the number of passengers in it will be 1,400. Okay, we have problem number 2. So there are 130 students in grade 7, 210 students in grade 8, and 290 students in grade 9 in a secondary school, and so on. What is the total number of students in the secondary school including the senior high school? Okay, so let's take the first step. Identify what type of sequence or series is given. So it is an arithmetic sequence also. Step number 2, understand the problem and determine what is given and what is being asked. So the sequence there is 130, 210, 290, and then so on. So for the given, we have your a sub 1, or your first term, is equal to 130, a sub 2 is equal to 210, and a sub 3 is equal to 290. Now, what is being asked? We will find the sum of the first 6 terms. Next, step number 3, solve the problem and simplify answers. So we have here the table, the grade, and then the number of students. So for the first column, we have your 130 students. Second, we have your 210 students. Third, we have your 290 students. So we will find the total number of students from the 7th grade to 12th grade. Okay, so the given, we have your a sub 1 is equal to 130, a sub 2 is equal to 210, a sub 3 is equal to 290, and then we will get the common difference so that we can use the formula in solving an arithmetic sequence. So your D here, we have your a sub 2 minus your a sub 1. So your a sub 2 is 210 minus your a sub 1, which is 130. So 210 minus 130 is equal to 80. So solution, we have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times d. So substituting the given into the formula, we have a sub n is equal to 130 plus the quantity n minus 1 times 80. And then to find your sixth term, we have to substitute your d and then n into the formula. So a sub 6 is equal to 130 plus the quantity 6 minus 1 times 80 will give you 530. So 530 is the total number of students in the 12th grade. So we can now use the formula S sub n is equal to the n, the quantity a sub 1 plus a sub n divided by 2. Thus, to find the total number of students from grade 7 to grade 12, we have to substitute S of 6 is equal to 6, the quantity 130 plus 530 divided by 2 will give you 1,980. So 1,980 is the total number of students from grade 7 to grade 12. Next example. So problem number 3. So a car travels 300 meters the first minute, 420 meters the next minute, 540 meters the third minute, and so on. What is the total distance the car travels in 5 minutes? So first step, we have to identify what type of sequence or series is given. Still, that is an example of arithmetic sequence. Step number 2, understand the problem, determine what is given and what is being asked. So the sequence is 300, 420, 540, and so on. So for the given, for first term, we have 300, second term 420, and then your third term is 540. We will now find the sum of your first 5 terms. Step number 3, solve the problem and simplify answers. So the table again here, we have your minute and then distance. For the first minute, we have your 300 meters. Second minute, 420 meters. Third minute is 540 meters. So we will find the total number of this distance traveled by that car in 5 minutes. Okay, so the given, a sub 1 is equal to 300, a sub 2 is equal to 420, a sub 3 is equal to 540, and then we will get the common difference by subtracting your first term from the second term. So a sub 2 minus a sub 1 is equal to 420 minus 300 is equal to 120. Substituting this given into the formula, we have your a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus the quantity n minus 1 times b. So your a sub n is equal to 300 plus the quantity n minus 1 multiplied by 120. So your fifth term is equal to 300 plus 5 minus 1 multiplied by 120 will give you 780. So your fifth term or your a sub 5 is equal to 780. We can now use the formula once again, which is S sub n is equal to n, the quantity a sub 1 plus a sub 5 divided by 2. Thus, the total number of meters traveled by that car in 5 minutes is equal to 5 times 300 plus 780 divided by 2 is equal to 2,700. Okay, next example, we have problem number 4. So what is the fifth term of the geometric sequence 3 over 20, 3 over 2, 15, and so on? So step number 1, we have to identify what type of sequence or series is given. So it is a geometric sequence. Step number 2, understand the problem, determine what is given and what is being asked. So the sequence given is 3 over 20, 3 over 2, 15, and so on. So given for your first term, 3 over 20, second term, 3 over 2, and then your third term is 15. So we will find ace of 5 or your fifth term. Step 3, solve the problem and simplify your answers. So we have here your first term is 3 over 20, second term is 3 over 2, third term is 15. We will now find your fifth term or your ace of n. So we have here the given, ace of 1 is equal to 3 over 20, ace of 2 is equal to 3 over 2, ace of 3 is equal to 15. So we will now find the common ratio. So to get the common ratio, we have to divide your ace of 2 divided by your ace of 1. So it's equal to 3 over 2 divided by 3 over 20 will give you a common ratio of 10. So we have to use the formula in finding the n term of a geometric sequence, which is ace of n is equal to ace of 1 r raised to n minus 1. So here, we have to find your ace of 5 or your fifth term is equal to, first term is 3 over 20 multiplied by your common ratio, which is 10 raised to 5 minus 1. So simplifying further, we have 3 over 10 multiplied by 10 raised to 4. So the final answer will give you your fifth term is equal to 1,500. Next, problem number 5. So a virus reproduces by dividing into 2. And after a certain growth period, it divides into 2 again. So as the virus continues to reproduce, it will continue to divide in 2. So how many viruses will be in a system starting with 80 virus cells after 10 divisions? So first step, we have to identify what type of sequence or series is given. So that is a geometric sequence. Step number 2, understand the problem, determine what is given and what is being asked. So the given, we have your first term is equal to 80, and then your common ratio is equal to 2. So find the number of viruses in the system after 10 divisions. Step number 3, solve the problem and simplify your answers. So the first division, we have 80. For the second division, 160. Third division, probably 320. So what will be the number of viruses after the 10 divisions? So we have the given, a sub 1 is 80, a sub 2 is 160, a sub 3 is equal to 320. So to get the common difference, we will divide a sub 2 divided by your a sub 1. So 160 divided by 80 will give you a common ratio of 2. Substituting these given values into the formula, a sub n is equal to a sub 1, the quantity r raised to n minus 1, will give you a the following. So we have a sub 10 is equal to your first term, which is 80, multiplied by 2, your common ratio raised to 10 minus 1. So simplifying further, we have a sub 10 is equal to 80 times 2 raised to 9, and that will give you a total of 40,960 viruses after the 10th divisions. So thank you for listening.